Good afternoon, good evening. Been a lovely day here. I don't know how it's been where you are. So this is a planning application. Some of you may recall the Urban Splash original application. My colleague Kate Poyser is dealing with it simply because I'm dealing with phase 2B and phase 3 and various other kind of applications as well, and planning conditions. My colleague, as I say, Kate Poyser, is dealing with the application submission, but I am aware of it, and it is something I've had involvement in pre-app stages. So I am highlighting this. This is the current planning reference. I can see online that there have been no, so far, public comments, but let me take you, hopefully, through this. There we go. Allow me to, what's going on? John, can you move the, it's not allowing me to, there we go. So the approved scheme was approved February 2020, and it came, it came through, sorry, I'm just trying to, John, can you move on to the next screen? Next one. So this is the old site layouts. You can see the age-restricted accommodation on the right-hand side, and the peninsula, which is going up as we speak. And these are the townhouses. The two shower homes are roughly here on the left-hand side, when the cursor is. The marketing suite, just so people are aware, is roughly in this location here. So, sorry, John. Oh, there we go, that worked. These are some of the old images. This is what was approved. Again, a vacant, as you will have come to see on the townhouse and the peninsula scheme, it's a very contemporary scheme, but this was what was approved. These are the elevations, just so you can see and compare and contrast. But it became clear during the post-planning kind of discussions on conditions and these kind of aspects with housing colleagues that there were a few kind of issues that needed to be resolved. It's still the same number of apartments and car parking. It's still the same extent of the site for the actual all-person homes. There's still a central courtyard being proposed. It continues links into the Northern Greenway, and it's still designed for the over 55s and is part of the affordable housing offer. And there also still, we will still continue to include the ecological enhancements, which include birds, bats, boxes, and a few other kind of aspects. So it looks a bit different to what it did. So you can see that the car parking, which was previously under Croft and under the building, is now a surface level car park. We've introduced the cycle parking has moved from around about this location to here, and a walled garden has been introduced for, this will be for residents. And this is the central courtyard, which you can see is flipped through 90 degrees, and various other kind of smaller kind of things. So this is what it will look like now. These are all the plans that are on the website. So if you're wondering what all these red lines mean, they are generally relating to details relating to what materials are going to be used and what colours and materials are being proposed. You can see here there are two covered terraces and an open terrace, and this kind of hazy is a green wall. I'll come to some better images of that in terms of what they look like. This is obviously two-dimensional, three-dimensional, trying to be two-dimensional, and sometimes that can be quite tricky. And this will be the primary entrance with housing colleague, with communal facilities on the ground floor, and the walled garden is here. So This is a kind of a 3D image of the actual proposal. So again, a communal terrace being proposed, covered area here, and again a kind of a covered area here. I lovingly call this area here the gin terrace. I'm not saying people are out there drinking gin in the summer, but it overlooks the lakes and the schools and has some fantastic views across that. So you know, I think that would be a very interesting space for those. You can see here that there's still these are solar panels and PV solar panels. So we're using solar aspects. There's the cycle store, and again there's an element of disabled parking and also electric charging being proposed within the car parking. And as you can see here, it's still 60 apartments. M43 just means it's it's more accessible. M42 is the standard approach to house building. M43 just means it's more accessible for disabled persons. So again, an important part of that. Internally, the courtyard has some interesting elements. So as well as obviously having the communal areas, each apartment will have a porch, and you can see here from the diagrams that people will be able to sit out on the front just to have a look at, and if they don't want to venture out too far from their flat but want some fresh air, they can sit down at the front of their apartment. And this again there's some arrows here just detailing what materials are being proposed. As I say, these are all images that are publicly available on the website, and you're able to view these if you want. This is the CGI image of the proposal. As I say, it looks quite interesting, and say the walled garden for the residents there being shown there, and the courtyards, the gin terrace as I call it, as I say, and the various other kind of courtyards being proposed. The entrance is here. This area here, so is Stirling Road, and this is obviously the schools in effect, and this is looking the other way, and I referred to the green wall, so to speak, or the green green aspect. So again this is kind of aspects to use that. And again, some of the gardens on the ground floor will also have outdoor patio areas along those kind of lines. There are more images, as I say, in the design and access statement, but so if you want to have a look at these kind of aspects in more detail, then please feel free. And so it will go to Planning Committee because we are the delivery partner and it's part of the affordable housing offer. And the comments are due. I think the site notice has only just gone up, but the comments are due by the 30th of July, according to the system that I've got. So I think the site notice may have just gone up by colleagues. So you've still got a couple of weeks to have a look at everything. That is the planning reference if you want to type it in, 21/02585/section 73. Now there are other plans on there, and some of those relate to the fact that what we are varying is the plans list condition, and so some of the plans, there needed to be duplication of those plans. I think that's it. I'll happily take any questions. I can see a couple have come in. Sarah?
Yes, I have. So one is asking, why do some flats get a garden and some don't?
Generally, most of the flats will have private amenity space. It's just, as I say, it's how it's designed. Obviously, the upper floors will have different to the ones on the ground floor, but that has been part of the discussion as to the quality of the space and those kind of aspects. But yes, that has that is one of the reason why. Basically, it's a design aspect, but also these come from the factory as well. So it's not a case of these are modular built, so they're very environmentally insulated.
Okay, and then a question on making use of the rooftop gardens, rooftops rather, to have gardens, or for eco reasons, so either solar panel or to provide habitats and carbon offsetting, including plants.
Yeah, so there are, as I showed on the layout on the 3D, and if I go up, I don't know whether I can go up, but on the previous slide, you could see there were loads of solar panels on the roofs, and that again is part of it. And by building in, so there you go, you'd see the solar panels. So there are very few free roof spaces, so to speak. But again, this is part of that aspect. In effect, is there will be availability, and that's why there is a roof terrace in there. That was part of our discussion, but we're using all the roof space as much as we can.
Okay, and if we could cover why we have got a block of age restricted housing, and it's not just for anyone. I don't know if it's a question for you or for Peter Campbell to come in on. So
the reason it's an over 55, so it's what we call age restricted. So it's part of the affordable housing offer, and it's part of the looking at multi-generational aspects. But obviously there will be flats and houses as part of the rest of the urban splash as well. So it's not just about, this is designed specifically for persons over 55 who might want to downsize from their houses, and it's designed to be, as I say, a linked community in itself. So that's why there.
Thank you. And a question from Dan, the chair of Long Centre Parish Council, noting that in part of the submission there's revised copies of many of the original statements in respect of ecology, surface and foul water. Can you talk about the key changes in these areas, especially anything to do with the ongoing hydrology investigation? So
obviously, in respect of the changes, it's basically making sure that there's no changes to the bat and bird boxes provision. There will still be those in there, so it's basically making sure those are all provided. So the ecology benefits are continued. There's no significant changes to those. What we just needed to do is as part of the submission is have all that data that we had and all those supporting documents updated to reflect that when we talk about the revised design, that we talk about the right design and the right plans. So all the plan references will be updated, and for example, where there's been a change in story heights, then that's been done. You will also see there have been obviously new tree planting as well, so those will have been factored into the ecology aspects, and obviously also the green wall. So that's what we've done. It is in effect.
Okay, great, thank you. So I think, oh, there's another question. Is there scope for the development to be extended in the future?
No, this is this purpose built. So unless I'm not aware there's any scope for it to be extended in the future, but as I say, it is a modular build. So that will be down to those aspects.
Yeah, so just to say that phase 2 has effectively been parcelled up. So this is part of the urban splash parcel, and obviously we've got Keep Note, which is the next parcel, and there will be additional ones coming on. So there are delineated areas, of which there is one. How many parking spaces are there?
Same as originally. I'll just double check.
I think you put 50% in, did you? I think I saw.
Yeah, it's 30 car parking spaces. So one for every other property.
Okay, I think that's all we have so far in terms of questions. Thank you very much for that, Andrew.